This is so crucial that people understand that mind control and controlling humans is actually happening now. And I really want the team, if you can, just play the B-roll of the rat leg moving. And before you do, I'm warning viewers, it is quite distressing footage, but you need to see it. This is 2 years ago, what they were doing, able to make a rat move against its will in their experiments. Okay, this is the Miami College of Engineering presentation. So this is not Neuralink, where you go and get a chip in your brain, willingly. This is wirelessly making a living thing move against its will. So if they 2 years ago were showing us this, which means that the technology was already 30 years ahead 2 years ago when they were showing this to the world, how far do you think that they've come now with their ability to make humans do things against their will, like the Rand Corporation brags about on their website, saying that they will be able to do coerce people and manipulate them to do things that they would not normally do?
The next session, please.
Hello, citizen of the world. We are the Illuminati. Today a new dawn is starting. We are going to take over this planet for the best of all mankind. You have two choices: join us, or you will be specks of dust of human history. We are the shadows that follow you and grow amongst you. For years and years we planned and got ready for this day. We already taken control of the UN, governments, and all the entertainment industry. You can't defeat us, so don't even try. Any action against us will be treated swift and with no mercy. We are the Illuminati. One world, one government, new order.
Electronic harassment, which I think I would like to rephrase as electronic terrorism, that also is something that you have researched and you've spoken about in the past, but most people are not familiar with it. What role does electronics play in controlling populations?
Everything. A radio frequency is being weaponized into directed energy weapons to be used on civilians and all living things. And
is this technology in your research, would you say that this is in the process of being developed, or has it already been refined?
No. This is way in advance, and what we've been doing here in Berkeley for the last few years is observing all of this being, all these pieces being integrated and put together. And the Chancellor of the University of California at Davis campus holds 19 patents on these frequencies, antennas, and the integration of all these systems. Well, life has evolved on Earth under the conditions of the Earth's magnetic field. So those are waves. Now, right. Einstein's formula, E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times a constant squared, which is the speed of light, right. Photons. That basically is the energy regime for the whole universe. And what it means is that everything in the universe is either in waveforms, light, radio, whatever, or it's matter. And it's this interplay of those two forms of energy that make life possible. Now, our bodies are simply photons. We're just a pile of photons. And it is wavelengths, it's energy, it's frequencies that control and synchronize our biological system and make life possible. And so the way that messages travel through our body, it's not chemical reactions.
Right.
They're too slow. It's infrared. And that's why they have a whole satellite system. It's called
SARS.
It's called SARS, but there's another. It's the. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, that uridium. It's the
Iridium.
Yeah,
The iridium.
iridium. That's right.
That was back in the 90s or something.
The government, the government put a fortune into it, developing it. Then they said, "Oh, we can't use it." They gave it to Bill Gates and Microsoft. Well, guess what it's really for? It's really for attacking people from space with infrared, and infrared is the message flow through our bodies, telling organs when to do what, telling cells when to do what, whatever. So our bodies are completely controlled, managed, everything through frequencies. And all they have to do is do research on the natural frequencies in all parts of the body and then mimic that. And that's what they're doing. And algorithms, which were developed, it's a mathematical language that they use in factories on assembly lines, for instance, to give commands to the machinery on manufacturing, making things instead of having people do it. And they transmit mood frequencies, they transmit all kinds of mind control frequencies.
Bioweapons, the modern type of bioweapons, are frequency controlled. Yeah. So they don't even start doing any harm before they're not activated. We saw that, for example, and this is an interesting story, when we look into what's happening in the US, the sentient world simulation run by the intelligence community that is basically picking up data from transhumanistic technologies of all the people, creating a real world simulation and to turn US citizens into biorobots.
The DNA Human Genome Project was carried out at the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, where I was a staff scientist for 5 years. They were tracking people in the lab by the electromagnetic frequency emitted by individuals' DNA. In other words, every living thing is an antenna that transmits and receives. We're an electrical system, and the DNA in every living thing has a unique frequency and signal. Believe it or not, that is what they're using, what they're focusing on, and what they're weaponizing to completely control us.
People spoke out, people who worked on erecting HARP facilities to produce the signals controlling this system. When they spoke out in public that actually the plan is to reverse these signals to turn US citizens into biorobots. There was a community of like 200 scientists who didn't want to support this development anymore, and they united to a group and started to speak out as a group to the public. Their families were assassinated with radio frequencies, And the symptoms of them dying were very, very, very similar to coronavirus death. Like having flu-like symptoms, then going to hospital with lung infection. So apparently we do have something that is related to electromagnetic warfare that shows the same symptoms. Like the flu, that is easily mistaken.
They're also talking about the Venter Institute. They're talking about a synthetic genome, or the ability to replicate entire organisms' hereditary history. So these are not simple programs. These are very sophisticated and very complex programs. Now, I did an interview on February 3rd, 2008, with Dr. Wynn Parker, who has a program called Parker's Pathways. And a very new discovery that I had found just weeks before that interview, I saw all these press releases coming out, a flurry of them from the UC Berkeley campus, from the Lawrence Berkeley Lab, from the National Science Foundation, from the National Academy of Sciences, and I said, this has to be a huge discovery. And what it was, Jeff, was a laboratory on the UC Berkeley campus had demonstrated with a nanoparticle, they transmitted a well-known song to that nanoparticle, and they had a receiver to capture and replay that song that was transmitted from that nanoparticle.
I remember hearing it. They had it up on YouTube, didn't they?
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's still, I think, on the laboratory website at UC Berkeley. But I went, oh my God, what in the world is the application of that?
Right.
This is huge, because all those the whole scientific establishment in the U.S. would not be so excited. It sticks to our DNA and our mitochondria that provide all the energy for the body. So as I was sitting there describing all of this to Dr. Parker, and I was talking about HAARP, this is all integrated into the HAARP system, and I was talking about HAARP, this is all integrated into the HAARP system, I knew that Dr. Parker, Wynn Parker was not his real name. I knew he was a CIA scientist. I knew he'd worked for the U.S. government, for the Department of Defense, for the World Health Organization, and the UN at different times. And I knew that he was a microbiologist who had read proposals, grant proposals, research papers. He knew the whole field because he had to advise the government. And so I just sort of said, Dr. Parker, what is the application of this discovery that nanoparticles are transmitters? And he caught his breath and he said, well, it's to redesign the human genome.
That's all, huh?
That's all.
They're going to create a new species, is what they're talking about here. Learning to control, manipulate, and otherwise influence your DNA. It's all about control. Total, absolute, cradle-to-grave control.
That is total slavery. That is reducing humanity to being robots. That is eliminating spirituality. It's eliminating free choice. It's eliminating everything that makes us human beings. It's this totalitarian, insane scientific oligarchy that's run by psychopaths, and they think they can do anything they want to.
Absolutely. And if you look at psychotronic weapons, and really even what the military has discussed, that this is more powerful than any nuclear bomb, because when you can control people's mind, you can control the world. And what is very important, though, if you look at the statements of Dr. Robert Duncan, who actually wrote the AI software for some of the largest supercomputers that are monitoring people's brainwaves, and he was with the CIA And he clearly said that via satellite, every human being's brain waves are being recorded and monitored. And if you're using more than 10% of your brain, you're actually going to be targeted. So even though this sounds like science fiction, their overall science is so far advanced that